Superman shop may be gone, but this was still the boldest move we've seen from Apocalypse yet.
Darkseid won't stay down for long, and we can't play defense forever.
Then we agree. We're going to have to take this fight to his doorstep.
Excellent. Count me in, team.
Okay, who left the front door open?
How's it going, Jack Tackers, and welcome back to another video for you guys. Today I'm going to be doing my review for the Reign of the Supermen, but first remember, if you guys are new, make sure to check out my social media and vlogging channel down in the description below, and without further ado, let's get into this. Okay, so honestly, I like this movie a lot. I can definitely see where people have issues with it. I have a lot of issues with it as well, but it's nothing that ruins the movie for me as a whole. A lot of people really love the death of Superman, and honestly, guys, I'm not the biggest Superman fan, so I don't really care for that movie, but I still like watching these DC animated movies, obviously, since I am a huge DC fan, and it's not always about Superman, since the Justice League and obviously other characters do appear. But I guess the general focus is on Superman anyway, but I still enjoy watching these movies, of course, so it's not like I don't want to watch them. They're still good for the most part, and the death of Superman I didn't hate. It was just, it felt generic in my opinion, and I think the reason is because it didn't feel epic enough. Don't get me wrong, it felt way more epic than this movie, which brings me to my point here with this movie, is it's not epic at all. It's not, you know, exciting enough for me. Also, this movie's like only an hour and 27 minutes, I think, to be exact, which is hella short. I know it's an animated movie. I don't know off the top of my head how long the other DC animated movies usually are, but yeah, it's just like really short in my opinion, and I think this movie, if it was like maybe an hour and 45 minutes or something, just like another 20 or so minutes were added to this movie, it would have worked a lot better, because it could have set a lot more things up, focused more on the Supermen themselves, because honestly, I feel like, you know, we didn't get to see much of them. They were alright, you know, Superboy, I guess he's probably my favorite, like, he was probably the most comedic and the most likable out of all the Supermen. Steel was alright as well, voiced by Cress Williams, which I thought was pretty cool, and I know Cameron Monaghan, he voices Superboy, so that's kind of neat. There's a bunch of voices in here, obviously, a bunch of famous voices from other comic book TV shows and movies and stuff like that, so that was really neat. Yeah, but this movie just should be a lot more epic, and I think the closest I came to being like, wow, that was really cool, was towards the end of the movie when Clark became like actual Superman again, and he wore the suit and he, you know, opened his shirt. That was pretty epic, and he started flying, and then when the Justice League came back, that was another, like, oh, wow, they're back, finally, that's pretty cool, and you just see Batman, like, jump down, I'm like, oh, shit, so that was kind of cool, but they just, like, rushed it. They rushed certain scenes, and once again, brings me to my point where, yeah, this movie would have been done a lot better, in my opinion, if it was, you know, a lot short, or not a lot shorter, Jesus, a lot longer, like maybe 20 minutes or so, we could have gone more into the backstory, more in-depth with the actual Supermen. I feel like that would have worked a lot better for this movie, because I wanted to like these superheroes and these, well, they're not really superheroes, but these Supermen, I guess I should say, refer to them. I feel like I would have cared more about them. You really only care, I guess, for the good guys, obviously, since that only makes sense. Steel and Superboy. They're both probably the best Supermen out of the group, I guess. Kind of going into, like, the Darkseid stuff now. Basically, I'm really excited for this next movie out of this, like, Superman trilogy. I think it is obviously going to be New Apocalypse, and we see the post-credit scene towards the end, which I did play at the beginning of this video, with the Justice League regrouping, talking about Darkseid, and that he's not going to stop. Darkseid is coming, and we do get a lot of glimpses of him in this movie, which I thought was pretty cool. And I feel like this is a setup movie, and I know a lot of people are like, oh yeah, this was a good movie, but an underwhelming sequel. That's what I've been hearing all over the internet, and I feel like people need to realize this is a setup movie, and it's not an excuse, but Obviously, it's still a good movie in my opinion. Yeah, sure, maybe it's underwhelming from the death of Superman, but in my opinion, hey, Death of Superman wasn't that amazing. But I actually still do like Death of Superman over this one, just because I feel like there was better scenes in Death of Superman, and that was a little bit more executed better in my opinion. I feel like a lot of people could agree with me on that. Another negative I have with this movie, and it's a small thing, Lois Lane finding out what Clark's biggest secret was, and that it's, I love you. That was retarded. Like, I don't know if it was just me, but holy shit, that was stupid. Like, really? Clark loves Lois Lane? That's fucking mind-blowing, yo. So I guess that was more of a little small thing, but still, what the hell? Speaking of Clark and his role in this movie, like I said earlier in the video, the end of him flying around and him being back in the Superman suit was pretty cool. Us seeing him in the black suit, Superman suit with the mullet and everything, that was also dope. But I feel like his return wasn't epic enough, and that brings me back to my previous point about this movie. Things are not epic enough, things are not drawn out enough, which I know usually it's not a good thing to draw out scenes, but in this case it should have been more epic and just grand. It would have worked. But I guess there you guys go. Honestly, I could ramble way more on this movie, but I'm trying to keep this review somewhat short. I don't know. Let me hear your thoughts on this movie down in the comments below. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in the next one. Peace. Boop.